You know, it was Bernie's day to go up and tighten the screws on the tower cam. Bernie. No matter your religious leanings, you know we are entering some of the most holy days on the calendar for some of the world's major faiths. Given the past year, we decided to spend some time reflecting on how faith and spirituality have perhaps changed during the pandemic. Paula Tutman leads a multi-faith discussion that might hit home for a lot of us.
What has COVID done to your faith? How has your faith been tested by COVID? In a time when there is racial unrest, hunger and want, climate change like winter in Texas, when it's a place that always boasts summer, unhappiness and disease, and yes, this summer, the locusts return? What does this all mean? We turned to a roundtable of religious leaders to find out. A Baptist minister, an Episcopalian bishop, an Islamic imam and Muslim social activist, the Catholic chairman and president at Interfaith Leadership Council of Metro Detroit, a practicing Sikh, and a Jewish rabbi.
I think what we're seeing in many cases is a renewed interest in religion and spirituality. People are questioning, what does this all mean?
What each has noticed is the faithful have been digging deeper to be closer to their spiritual communities as a way to process the pandemic.
I feel like for my personal practice, it's definitely become more contemplative. I've been praying more, practicing more, meditating more. The realization that, life is short, like truly.
Because of virtual services, people from around the nation and around the world are sampling their particular houses of faith and worship.
It's not clearly about faith, it's about community. I think that people noticed that they lost their community and how important that was.
And young people in particular are not necessarily questioning their faith, but have very specific questions for God.
About why did this happen? Why did God allow so many people to die? We're having long conversations, deep conversations. There's a lot of questions about God's justice and why this was to happen and who is responsible and what will happen to the people who've lost their lives to COVID, like innocently lost their lives. There's a lot of questions around grief.
Rabbi Joshua Bennett could not join the actual Zoom roundtable, but was able to weigh in on the conversation of faith and the pandemic.
It has been said that religion is the opiate of the masses, that it's a way of controlling people, and certainly over time and history, it has been used that way. But religion also is a great connector. The truth is, despite our differences, we are very similar regardless of our religious path. We're saying the same thing: belief in something bigger than us, connection to family and communities, charity, doing good work for the sake of the world.
Which brings us to what is truly happening in the world, and have we descended into the beginning of the end times?
The Quran clearly states in chapter 30, corruption has spread on land and sea as a result of people's actions. So he may let them taste the consequences of what they have done, and perhaps they might return to the right path.
Well, we certainly can't leave the conversation right there, particularly when we have the re-emergence of the cicada after a 17-year slumber, and some people are actually equating that to a biblical swarm. And so our roundtable actually tackles talk of Armageddon at 5:30, and Devin, of course, the truth about the cicada. We'll see you at 5:30.
The plague of the locusts, right? A timely conversation coming up. All right, Paula. Still ahead here.